Hello and what is going on, you guys? Hyperion-Blue-GT is here. Wednesday has arrived for round 6 in season 2 of the 2021 Exhibition Series Nations Cup on Gran Turismo Sport. Today we are taking Mount Panorama motor racing circuit in 9 laps. Will be featured where the Mazda Roadster Touring Car will be ready to go to be in the 1-make category. Grid start with full start check, and the racing hard compound tires will be setting up automatically to be in the regulation. So I went down to free practice. It's going to be putting up with a Michelin Pilot Sport tire sticker to have all of my liveries to be needed until the event is over. For this challenge, racing around onto the track is going to be quite giving out differences by the uphill and the downhill will take the terrain. But sometimes going faster to the limit is going to be very challenging out there whenever we have to push our way onto the top 3 position. So grab your Mazda Roadster Touring Car with some standard and custom livery variant. We'll be putting up a good suitable chances for the thumbnail images to have a tire sticker before we're about to be moving on to take round 7. I'll be using with the UDRS InSportTech livery as an alternate variant to be base color in silver. Balance of performance regulations will be setting up automatically in the power in 84%, weight goes increase at 126%. Here we go, folks. Let's take a lot of practice and we will join in session to take part in the lobby. If you're new to my YouTube channel, go and click the subscribe button and leave a like and comment at the session down below, and check out the links on the description if you really want to see more. Feel free to enjoy anytime you want for the entertainment. Now it's time to get ready to start the race, and let's begin. The 2021 Exhibition Series Nations Cup Season 2 is about to begin. Mazda Roadster Touring Cars will be ready to take the challenge to go faster to the limit. Here's TKR Project D is now starting out in 2nd place, and here's the 1st place driver in pole position, Hawk 92. Next up we have Non-Fiction is now raring to go to have a good Rodsman livery variant, and here's Fat Boy seeing it, choosing for having a good exact variant to be in position number 4. Lumbian is here in 6th place, and we have the 5th place driver will be coming up is Commander X, original variant, good and average. And here Stank Dankosaurus is now ready to go in position number 7, and we have GM28 John in 8th place will be at the go. Next up, 9th place, Jacquay 24/7. Reowned livery of the Mazda Roadster Touring Car, makes a good exact variant like the 787B. C-Wayne 2012 is here in 10th place. Here's myself in 12th place with the UDRS InSportTech livery with the alternate design. BRGT_Drykey is now ready to go in position number 11. Mother 111 is here in 13th place. And next up we have a 14th place driver. Transcend Phoenix 86 is here, followed by for another driver in 15th place. Mobed Danu for real is now ready to go to have a lime dark green color. JR Mustang 03 is here in 16th place. Next up, Johnny Scuderia is here in position number 17. Also for the 18th place driver is Ronman 121, very good color variant. And here's Proti Zone is now ready to go in last place. And especially for the 19th place driver is Chevy 1521 will be going in to be participate. After taking a lot of hard work to do a qualifying session, the challenge is going to be pretty harder it takes out there, folks. Starting grid will be at the good position for only 5 seconds. Will be on standby. Do your best, and let's see how we can probably have to go in by having a lot of slipstream by taking 2 straightaways between the terrain onto the uphill and the downhill. So let's do this. The 6th round in the Nations Cup of the 2021 Exhibition Series is about to begin. turn number 1 will be coming in onto the Hell's Corner for the first place driver, will be taking the front lines, and there's several lineups will be going over to have a first part to be on the mountain straight. First sector is going to be quite giving a good simple call out there, viewers. Stank Dankosaurus is now coming in by having a good slipstream by catching up with some good opponents. Coming in and make your way on to sector number 2 will be at Grip and Spin at corner number 2. So here comes TKR_Project D is now coming in to take the first one, will go in. Inside cornering, and we got several opponents is going to be quite coming on to the outside, and we lost one driver in the Mazda Roadster Touring Car, will be called in earlier to be on the yellow flag signal. That's the ticket. UDRS Insportec is going in for having a small applied overtake to be climbing up onto the top 5 position. There's Commander X by having a blue variant of the original livery of the Mazda Roadster Touring Car to be coming over onto the top of the hill, passes through onto the Solman Park to be in the next corner. Progressionally to be on the second sector is going to be quite going remarkable out there. QJ Hawk 92 is coming forward to take the lead, while TKR Project D is now moving on to be in second place to be dropped down. The Drip Dipper followed by the S's is now coming down the hill in sector number 3. So let's do this. Do the best exercise caution whenever we have to get a good perfection without getting caught in a penalty. That's more like it. Commander X is still on the run to catch up onto Fat Boy Cianet, and goes over onto the Forest Elbow to be at the next corner to be at the left. Oh boy, it looks like that was definitely might be having a lost contact and preventing a hit at the barrier for Fat Boy Cianet. Drops down onto position number 7. I hope it could probably have to be end up onto the same position before drop down onto the 8. And here comes onto the Conrad Straight for 4 drivers, including the UDRS Insportec, will take action. Sector number 4 will be going in to take turn number 20, will be at the chase towards 22. Passes in by having a good early braking point to be on the 100 marker bar, and make your way on to the final corner, will be at the Murray's Corner to be at turn number 23. So let's see how the best cornering will be giving a good sharp angle to be at the 90-degree angle. There you go. Perfect braking point. Watch out for the handling. And goes on for having a full stretch to be in the first lap towards the end and moving on into lap number 2. QJ Hawk 92 takes the lap time for only 2 minutes and 41.235 seconds. Very good job out there for QJ Hawk 92, folks. His fans are going to be so proud of him whenever he could probably have to take home the podium. Now, also for the last second, Stank Dankosaurus is now moving on to be in position number 5 to catch up on to Commander X to be at the mountain straight in sector number 1. Going right back again onto the Grip and Spin at turn 2 will be reached up onto sector number 2. Side by side is going to be giving a good braking point to be going over onto the exact position, and Insportec makes the perfect call by having a small risk. Will have to proceed onto the inside. And there you go. Looks like Stank Dankosaurus is now moving on to be in 4th place by having a good roll of a quick attack. Going up the hill, Commander X is now going in for having an offense strategy to catch up onto Stank Dankosaurus before entered onto the Quarry Corner. Now passes through onto the Ray Park and goes over for having a nice slightly turn to be passed over onto the sign of the Solman Park. Made it in on top of the hill. Lap number 2 goes in by having a first wave. Will be giving a lot of good successful moments out there to be in the 6th round of the FIA Gran Turismo Championship in the 2021 Exhibition Series Nations Cup. But here it goes again. Drop down onto the S's to be going down the hill in sector number 3. Keeping a good steady pace mobility. Slightly in. Give a close call. And make that braking point after taking the downhill. Handling is doing one piece, while Commander X is now continuing on by having a struggle push to catch up on the Stank Dankosaurus in 4th place to be at the Conrad Straits. How incredible to see how Stank Dankosaurus can actually try to do its best out there. But luckily, there's several decals with Pokemon in it. But can I say, it looks so good to have some Pokemon decals to be placed on the Mazda Roadster Touring Car. But heads up, looks like this may cause for a tragic comeback for Fat Boy Cianet to be going in for the overtake. Now comes in onto the chase to be in sector number 4. UDRS Insportec will have to take action to catch up onto Fatboy C-Init in 6th place, while the 7th place driver is currently to be on the push to reach over onto the final corner at the Murray's Corner. Good perfection at the 90-degree angle at the last turn. Make the short straightaway towards the end of the second lap, and we have TKR_Project D is now moving on to take the record set in 2 minutes and 32.116 seconds. Incredible! Going faster to take the lead, and TKR is now on the high front. Will we keep going forward to be in the top of the hill? So meanwhile, UDRS Insportec is taking a close call at the Hell's Corner to be passed through onto turn number 1. Continue on to be in the mountain straight towards sector 2 at the grip and spin to be in turn number 2 is going to be giving a good exact position to have that braking point. We'll be going in for having a good exact inside cornering. But there goes Johnny_Scudera in a red Mazda Roadster Touring Car by having a lost control of the grip. But definitely might be giving some physics, is definitely might be having some good exact response movements. That was a close call for sure for Johnny_Scudera. And now once again, climbing back onto 7th place while Insportec drops down again at 8th place. After taking the quarry corner, now comes in onto the Frog Hollow to be reached up onto the next corner. Top of the hill makes the perfect spot to be in lap number 3 for only 6 more to go by the remaining. But however, if UDRS Insportec is working hard to climbing up onto the top 5 position, it's actually doing the hardest struggle out there when placing up with some hard racing compound tires is going to be quite giving some different challenges turn. So after taking the S's is going to be giving a risk, and there's Johnny Scudera is trying to regain control of its Mazda Roadster to be colored in red and gets over onto the elbows. Forest is now passes through for Insportec to be climbing back onto 7th place to be over onto the Conrad Straits. Incredible. I cannot believe it how Johnny_Scudera just barely made its good safety risk call by regaining control of its Roadster while taking the S's onto turn number 15 to 16. But however, it's definitely might be pretty difficult to call to see how several GT players can actually try to come up with its technique to save itself. But looks to me, it takes practices whenever it might have to do some more basic work, whenever there's might be some trouble up ahead. So right now, towards the end at the final corner at the Murrays, will be reached over onto the inside position. And there you go, Insportec takes the good perfect spot towards the end of the 3rd lap. And now moving on to be in lap number 4, we'll be having a good current progression. We'll be having some new challenges. We'll have to beat Project D's lap time in 2 minutes and 32.116 seconds. It still takes a lot of hard push for having a one-make race category to be using with the Mazda Roadster Touring Car. So let's see how the top 3 driver is doing. Going well at turn number 2 in grip and span, and passes through onto the cutting in turn 3 and 4. Very good. There's Kuche Hawk 92 is currently on to 2nd place. Better make sure if we could probably have to take the inside cornering to be sliding around by having a good mobility. Non-fixed Shun is staying on over to be in 3rd place. Passes through onto the quarry and make it way onto the top. Continuous onto the progression to be at the left corner turn to be on a specific way. Still going at it. Now coming in towards the end of sector 2 before going down onto the S's in sector 3. TKR_Project D is now going in to take the first one. Will be going down the hill by having a good perfection chance without losing control of the handling. But looks like Kuche Hawk 92 did a pretty good thing to do the same. And also the same for Non-Fiction will be going over to have that same attempt. And there goes UDRS Insportec is going to be quite giving some good exact balance correction. We'll have to take much more careful without getting caught in the penalty. Giving a little bit push on to the length of the gap bump behind, and giving a little bit closer out there for only 1 second behind from Johnny_Scudera in the red Roadster Touring Car. Will be gain some a little bit more added boost to be in the 5-second penalty to be on the decimal. but still gets a lot further out there for having a push. There's Johnny_Scudera is now moving on to take action to catch up onto UDRS Insportec. Take the right side position by the offense, and Insportec just lost the line in sector number 4 to be going over onto the chase again. But here comes, the red Roadster is now going in to be dived in by having a good perfection mobility, and straight forward towards the final corner at the Murrays will have to take that good perfect spot to be reached over onto the 50. There you go, looks like Johnny_Scudera just barely tried to keep it cool and gets a little bit more opportunity for UDRS Insportec to be moving on in lap number 5. Side by side comes in onto the house corner in turn 1. Almost barely had the chance. Still gets a lot of slipstream. I really hope if I could probably have to do it. The battle for 7th place goes on, viewers. Luckily, if Transcept Phoenix 86 is about to be coming in about 3 seconds behind the length of the gap, that might give that straightaway to be on the mountains in sector 1 and 2. So here comes turn 2. Let's see how Johnny could probably have to keep things up onto the inside cornering, while Insportec will have to stay on the line. Slowing down and gets a little bit more risk, pushing forward by having a good length of space, cutting through onto turn 3 and 4, and there it goes, Johnny_Scudera pushing back onto UDRS Insportec to go a little bit left behind onto the range of the gap. Will have to go increase in 1.4 seconds after passing through onto the quarry corner. The spectators were a little bit shocking to see how Insportec is still tries to keep it up by facing with a tough opponent. It's going to be going much average. But I bet it does. It might have to go again for another round for taking a rematch. So let's do this. Take down onto the S's in sector 3. Going in quickly by having a good throttle. Goes over by having an increased gap distance and range. Passes through onto the forest elbow by putting up the braking point. Handling is doing well. Johnny_Scudera is now moving on to be in position number 6, while Insportec is staying well behind on to position number 7 until Transcept Phoenix 86 is closing in about 1.3 seconds. Push hard out there, viewers. I know this race is very challenging for the Mazda Roadster Touring Car to be in the one-way category at Mount Panorama. It's going to be the only exercise challenge whenever we have to push ourselves to increase the throttle by the pace. And there it goes. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe it. Johnny_Scudera just barely lost control at turn 21 and 22 after the chase is definitely almost lost that chance out there. So I hope I could probably have to give an instant replay to see the investigation. He almost had that chance to stay in a good correct mobility. But I mean, only one original red Roadster variant is definitely might be lost its grip. That might ends up to goes off the track, drops down onto the position, will be reached up onto the middle section, while UDRS Insportec is perceived forward onto lap number 6, while Transcept Phoenix 86 moves on after taking turn number 1 at the Hell's Corner. Passes through onto the mountain straight before reached up onto sector number 2. There's Transcept Phoenix 86, folks. Moving on to take the second corner at the grip and span. Will be doing the first one. We'll have to go in. There you go, right at the good respawn. Transcept Phoenix is now doing its good cool effort, while Insportec is staying on the slipstream for the line of chase. Turn 3 and 4 at the cut is going to be getting a little bit further out there. We'll have to keep a good slow down, and gets a little bit pushed back away by having a single use of a tapping brake is definitely might give a disadvantage for Insportec. But still not over yet. The slipstream gets a lot of good speed onto the progress. So let's see how the fastest lap time is barely made a good update. There's Kuj Hawk 92 is doing a good successful run for only 2 minutes and 31.266 seconds. Pretty good, and making an ongoing rush out there to have a nice run. And Oh boy, looks like this is definitely might be giving a good interruption call. There's GM28 John dives in onto sector number 3 and taking a single contact by attacking UDRS Insportec in the same roadster and goes on for having a quick aggressive. But I mean, that makes Insportec is having a front bumper by taking the damage thanks to GM28 John by having an aggressive approach. So here comes the hazard lights. Better make sure if things might need some automatic repairs, we'll have to go for the attempt recovery, and goes on to be moved over onto the Conrad Strait to be in Sector 4. Now Insportec is going on for the aggressive, catching up onto GM28 John in 7th place after taking the S's in Sector 3 by having a one quick rush to be dived in by the accident. So I hope I could probably have to go for a little bit more active revenge. We'll have to take action before moving on to be in lap number 7. Proceed over onto the Murray's corner at the final corner. Take this full straightaway to be reached up onto the 7th lap. Kuj Hawk 92 is definitely might be at 4th or 5th place whenever he's at. Keep an eye out. Let's see how things might go on out there to take the last point race entry to be taking part for the 6th round. So I really hope I could probably have to move forward to be in the next race. Is going to be quite giving some good efforts to do some different categories. Will be need to have some Michelin Pilot Sport tire stickers. But the hobby ways will have to get much more interesting. We'll have to do some more follow-up souvenirs. While the racing will have to continue on until the final lap will be reached up towards the end. GM28 John is now continue forward to catch up on to Transcend Phoenix 86 in 6th place. Going through onto the cutting. Up the hill they go. And taking the contact by hitting the wall for UDRS Insportec due to the handling effect by the problem since the last lap from the number 6. But still takes a lot of acceleration to be on the throttle by taking the uphill terrain is definitely might be having a little hard time. Third gear is definitely makes a disadvantage. Fourth gear makes a good average. So here comes Johnny _Scudera is now coming in about 6.9 seconds. That makes giving a longer defense for Insportec while continuing to chase to catch up onto GM28 John in 7th place. However, the S's is definitely might be the hazard corner for every GT players to be in the single course is going to be very exercise caution. Gonna have to move forward, proceed, and there's Transcend Phoenix 86 to be dropped down onto 7th place after being overtaken from GM28 John by the ongoing patient rush. And there goes right now, the 7th and 6th place driver are now going in to take the battle to be in the 4th sector to be in turn 20 at the chase. So I hope I could probably have to make a good distance look out there to see two drivers whenever they have to try to make their best cornering skills to be in the perfection way. There you go, passes through onto the Armor All sign. Passes through on to turn number 23 at the Murray's corner, and there it goes. Transcend Phoenix is now moving on in position number 6, followed by Commander X to be dropped down onto 7th place to be decreased onto the range of the gap. It's going to be getting a little bit further simultaneously. We have 3 drivers by enter the 8th lap. We'll be moving on to take turn number 1 at the Hell's Corner to be in the Mountain Straight. Commander X is still tries to do its best out there, folks. Let's see how one Canadian driver in 6th place can actually try to keep it up by having a struggle push to catch on over to GM28 John. Now it comes in onto sector number 2 to be at turn 2 at the grip and span. So let's see how the 3 drivers can actually try to make their efforts onto the perfection inside. 2 drivers are getting a little bit further separate, and the 5th place is now going in for the upper hand. Transcend Phoenix 86 and Commander X is now pushing through onto turn 3 and 4 at the cutting before going up the hill once again. Still gets a lot of distance for Insportec. Only 5.1 seconds to go by the remaining. 4.9 seconds is now going decrease for Transcend Phoenix 86 in the same touring car with a different livery. and goes on for having a top of the hill, is going to be keeping forward to be in the second sector. Keep it up, Transcend Phoenix 86. If UDRS Insportech will have to take one more run to be in the final lap, that makes the 7th place driver will have to give a good average job well done to be in the finish. So here we go. Pass through onto the S's without taking any contact or getting hit by the wall. Several drivers have already taken that turn at the Forest Elbow, now coming right back onto the Conrad Straight. Commander X is now currently to be moved forward to have that chase to catch up onto the 5th place driver towards the end of the 3rd sector before moving on into Sector 4 will be reached over onto turn 20 at the early start in the chase. So let's see how the top 3 driver is doing. And there it goes. The final lap has already begun for TKR_Project D to be in the lead. Stank Decasaurus is doing a good job out there to be climbing up by having a good push to be in 2nd place, followed by Non-Fixed Shun in 3rd place is going over by the same. Turn Perfection is doing much average. And now several drivers are now moving on after taking the final turn to be in the final lap, and here it goes. This is it. The final showdown for several drivers, including the top 3, will be reached up onto the finish line to take the checker flag. TKR_Project D is now going much farther from the upper hand distance, is going to be much higher by nearly towards 50 seconds onto the range of the gap. There's 46.947 seconds out there for TKR Project D when I'm in 8th place. Gets a lot of good, excellent running efforts out there for seeing Stank Decasaurus along with Non-Fixed Shun in 2nd and 3rd place. The 4th place driver is still actually trying to keep things further out there onto turn 3 and 4 at the cutting. Going up the hill, if anything goes possible to have that single chance for the overtake, the final showdown will be having a best push. Will have to take the limits by having some good progression with no turning back. And here comes UDRS Insportech taking turn 3 and 4 to be in the cutting and goes over onto the quarry corner onto the 2nd sector. Passes through to be on the S's in the 3rd sector before moving on to take the final sector will be reached up towards the end. TKR Project D is now going in for having a good upper hand distance to stay in the defense when taking 1st place to be on the run. And there goes. Project D is now moving on to take the final sector, and the chase corner is his. But hold on, looks like the distance is going to be quite called in onto the update for the yellow flag. Insportech just barely made a good close call out there to have that slightly procedure to be on the green flag. Nothing else happened. Just gonna have to keep moving forward. And then there goes. The final corner is about to go on in the way. TKR_Project D takes the podium, and there it goes. We have ourselves a winner, folks. Project D is now in the winners of the 6th round in the 2021 Exhibition Series Nations Cup Season 2 is marking in onto the podium. TKR_Project D wins the race at Mount Panorama Motor Racing Circuit for the Mazda Roadster Touring Car. What a pretty good ongoing rush for the 1st place driver, folks. That was so amazing. Incredible, but amazing to see how faster can his Mazda Roadster can go faster for the limit. And there's Stank Decasaurus in 2nd place to take the silver, followed by Non-Fixed Shun in 3rd place, and everybody is moving forward to take the finish line. We'll have to mark for the checker flag. Very good, and doing an average job complete. And there goes Insportech to take 8th place. A-OK for having a good clean effort out there, folks. So luckily, it was all about taking a lot of exercise for the 1-make category to take on for having a toughest challenge to be on the terrain, but also for the tarmac. But it makes hard work for having an effort limits. We'll have to go on to push ourselves to be in the top 3 position. So there's Fat 4C in it, finished in 4th place, followed by GM28 John in 5th. And everybody is now proceed over onto the finish line towards the end of the 9th, and that makes for the DNF for Romman 121 and QJ Hawk 92. Well, That makes the personal best score for the current season will be reached over by 81 points. 8th place, race precision by 4. Now that's a challenging competition for a one-make race for the Roadster Touring Car. So let's go over to have some earnings, and we did a good hard work exercise race well done. TKR Project D takes the win by having his own variant in the Mazda Roadster Touring Car by having a total distance time in 23 minutes 5.2.6 seconds is now taking the best lap. It is going to be well checked to be completed. So luckily, Stank Decasaurus did a pretty good awesome push out there to make its focus to be in the top 3 position. And also for non-fixed John, doing great in average, but not bad at all. So let's go over to congratulations to the 3 drivers for having a good successful moment. Hang on a second. And there you go. Well, I guess that was all about having hard work to be on the terrain, to be on the road course circuit. So I hope I could probably have to get ready to be moved over to be in Le Mans in the next race. So I have received response from non-fixed Sean. You're very welcome, man. Thanks for the race. And you too, TKR_Project D. You did your best, and also incredible out there to make your best ways to be in the lead. Now that's competition to be in the highlights. Now I have finally got a Michelin Pilot Sport tire sticker on the alternate variant in the Mazda Roadster Touring Car with the UDRS livery is going to be perfect for having a spotlight. The 6th round of the Nations Cup in the 2021 Exhibition Series at Mount Panorama for the Mazda Roadster Touring Car is finished. Moving on in round 7 for the next race will be at Le Mans for having a Group 1 category. Better make sure to take a lot of clean practice around in Circuit de la Sarda to master every corners with Vision GT, Group C, and LMP1 race car. And there will be a brand new UDRS InSportec livery will be set in use on the Peugeot 908 HDI will be participate in the 7th round. Thank you for watching on my video in Gran Turismo Sport, folks. I hope you enjoyed. Just go subscribe to my YouTube channel for a like, comment, and click the bell for notifications on upcoming content videos if you'd like to see. And don't forget to follow me on any social media platforms like DeviantArt, Instagram, GT Planet, Twitter, and more to see for my own image artwork like UDRS livery, Total Drama fan art with car liveries, and more whenever you're welcome at any time. I'll be see you guys next time on Gran Turismo Sport, and I look forward to see you again in the next video. Keep on racing, stay clean.